You ever been on a date where you're sitting there trying to look all confident and masculine, but the only thing you can think about is whether you've got spinach stuck in your teeth? Yeah, that's me, every single time. And the worst part? You're sitting across from her, nodding along like you're listening to her deep story about her career or her dog, but in your head, you're just praying you don't suddenly laugh or accidentally spill water down your shirt. Because nothing says alpha male like coughing on your own drink and eating a napkin bib. Now, women say they want real men, but the second a guy shows up with actual masculine energy, calm, grounded, not apologizing for his existence, suddenly it's intimidating. Suddenly he's too much. Freud, that old cigar-loving troublemaker, would have had a field day with this, because he said women carry hidden fears about what he called the dark masculine. Not dark like creepy, but dark like powerful, decisive, unshakable. The kind of energy that makes her either lean in closer or run to tell her friends, "Girl, I don't know, he just gave me vibes." Most of us men try way too hard to be safe. We text back with smiley faces. We say "ha-ha" at the end of serious messages so we don't come across as too direct. And don't even get me started on the overuse of LOL. You ever catch yourself sending a LOL when you didn't even laugh? Bro, I once wrote LOL after telling a girl my grandma died. That's how deep the disease goes. Women don't fear those guys. They friend zone them. Why? Because they're predictable, harmless, a little boring. But Freud, with his messy theories and couch obsessions, basically hinted that women crave the opposite. They're drawn to the guy who doesn't bend over backward, the guy who can sit in silence without squirming, the guy who doesn't need her approval but whose approval she secretly wants. And here's where it gets funny. Because that's exactly the guy most modern women are also terrified of. He disrupts the script. He doesn't play the safe and agreeable game, and nothing rattles someone like realizing the rules don't work anymore. You're at a restaurant. Most guys will nervously ask, so what do you want to eat? But the man with grounded presence just says, "We're getting the steak, medium rare. Trust me." And instantly she's thrown off. Part of her brain is like, wait, who does this man think he is ordering for me? And the other part is secretly blushing because deep down, decisiveness is attractive. Freud would smirk, puff a cigar, and say, "See, told you so." And here's where I'll admit my own failure. I once tried this. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be decisive. I'm going to channel my inner Freud dark masculine energy. So the waitress comes and I'm all confident like, "We'll have the salmon." Problem is, she's allergic to fish. So instead of being the mysterious, powerful guy, I almost became the guy who killed her on a first date. Real smooth. Point is, it's not about fake confidence. It's about authentic energy. Women don't actually want a dictator at dinner. They want a man who's sure of himself, but also aware. So why do modern women fear this type of man? Because he forces them to be vulnerable. He forces them to feel. And in a world where everyone's glued to their phone, curating perfect Instagram captions, and talking in TikTok quotes, vulnerability is terrifying. Freud said women's greatest secret wasn't desire, it was fear of their own desire. The more powerful the man, the more it wakes up those hidden emotions. She wants it, but she's scared of it. Like me wanting cheesecake at 2 a.m. Terrifying, but irresistible. Here's the wild part. If you show up with weak energy, you get ignored. If you show up with fake, try-hard alpha vibes, you get laughed at. But if you show up calm, present, and real, now she's hooked, and maybe a little scared. That fear isn't bad. It's actually proof that you're not forgettable. You've broken through the noise. You're not another guy with LOL disease. You're the man who makes her heart beat faster. And listen, I'm not saying be a caveman. Don't drag her by the hair to the nearest cave yelling, "Freud approves." That's how you end up single or worse on the news. What I am saying is stop apologizing for your presence. Stop begging for permission to exist. Women don't fear men who are rude or cruel. They fear men who are comfortable in their own skin, because that's the rarest thing in the world. So the next time you're on a date and you're stressing about spinach in your teeth or whether you're using enough emojis, remember this. Freud's darkest secret wasn't about women being mysterious. It was about men forgetting how to be real. The kind of real that makes her both laugh at your dumb jokes and secretly wonder, why can't I stop thinking about him? And if all else fails, order the steak. Just maybe check for food allergies first.